Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Second Society podcast. Today I'm interviewing Hannah Haisman, who is a wedding photographer based out of Chicago. And the reason why I brought her on is because, well, unfortunately, she had a terrible incident with a second shooter.
Let's talk about a second shooter experience that still haunts me to this day.
That she hired off of a Facebook group. And obviously, you guys all know that is my worst nightmare, right? Like, this is why we built Second Society, because we don't want these experiences to happen to anybody else. And we really want to educate any wedding photographer out there, wedding videographer, on what not to do as a second shooter, as well as what to do as a second shooter who we hire back again and again. And so today I thought it would be awesome to have her on the show, interview her, hear the story, but also just dive into what we would both want as a second shooter. So without further ado, let's dive in. Well, Hannah, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Today is going to be a hard topic to talk about because it's not all rainbows and butterflies. And we have a lot to get into, but we kind of want to hear the story that brought you onto this podcast. So why don't we just dive in? What happened?
Okay, yes, let's do it. So this story is crazy, and it happened about 3 years ago. So it was a while back, and it was back when I was kind of starting to get, this idea of I should add second shooters to my packages. And I'd been advised by other photographers that was something that would really, make the day better for not only me, but the couples. And there's just so many reasons why having second shooters at the wedding is a great thing. So I was like, okay, I think that I want to start doing that. So, I started posting in Facebook groups to get second shooters, and I had a couple second shooters from the Facebook groups that I absolutely loved, and it worked out really well. And so I had a wedding coming up, and I posted again in this Facebook group, and this girl had responded saying that she had a Canon EOS R5 mirrorless camera, which, if people don't know, that is a very pro camera. And a small detail about that camera is it has a dual SD memory card slot. So it's great for second shooters. At the end of the night, they can give you the SD card, and then they also have their photos. So if they want to use them, it's just very seamless. And she also had sent me a portfolio, which was stunning. It had really great photos. And so I was perfect. And I booked her. So day of the wedding, she had shown up, and she did not have a Canon R5 mirrorless. She came in with, I still can't remember the exact camera, but it was a Rebel T. It was something that was very, very low end and very amateur. You could go to Walmart and probably buy it for $200. Not a pro camera.
Not gonna work.
Yeah, no. And the other thing was it did not have a dual memory card slot, which later in the night kind of came to bite us. But I had kind of asked her oh, well, where's your other camera? And she had made some excuse to me that, it had broke or blah, 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 which come to find out later, she ends up telling me that she actually thought that by the time this wedding had happened, that she would have enough money to buy the R5. So she was promising people I have this camera. 'Cause she's surely by the wedding, I'll have it. And then she just wasn't able to afford it yet. So that was that. But anyway, I know. So then throughout the day, if people don't know, the goal of having a second shooter at your wedding is to get secondary angles, and you have your lead photographer and the second shooter. It's not a wedding that they booked. They're usually there because the lead photographer hired them to be there. And so you normally kind of go wherever the lead photographer asks you to go. You don't stand in this.
You always go where the lead photographer asks you.
Right. And it's more so because you don't want to be getting the same photo. If the couple's paying to have a second shooter there, it makes no sense for them to be standing at the exact same spot, getting the exact same photo. You want to give them variety. You want to give them more options, more photos. Now, obviously, I like to, when I have second shooters, I understand that, this is a wedding where they could, get photos for their portfolio. So if we have time, I am so in favor of letting them get some forward facing shots too. And I'm very, very generous with my second shooters. So throughout the day, I would be asking her to like stand different spots. And she was very, very hesitant to go in these different spots. And I was kind of clocking that, but then when it came time for the ceremony, I was telling her, I'm going to be standing down by where the groom is, and I want you to stand like at the other end of the aisle so you can get the bride as she's coming down, like the back of her dress. And she just looks at me and she's like, no, like, I don't want to do that. And I'm like
an awkward, absolutely not. Kind of, you're like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What is happening right now?
And the way she said it was as if she's been like holding in all these feelings for me all day. And then it finally like came out where she was like, you know what? Like, I can't stand you. She's like, I feel like you have not been giving me the shots that I need for my portfolio. She's like, I really want to get the bride when she's coming down. And she's like, I need that shot. And I was very taken aback because she had already lied to me about the camera gear, and I'd already felt so annoyed by these little things throughout the day where I was like, how on earth is now she mad at me? Mm-hmm. And so at this point, I was like, I really don't want to like upset her because she was seeming like a little nuts at this point, if I'm going to be honest. Yeah. And I really didn't want her to upset the bride or the groom. Like, I just didn't want this to be a big deal. So I was like, and let's be honest, the photos probably weren't going to be that great with her camera anyway. So I'm like, I just want to diffuse the situation. So I was like, you can stand wherever you'd like. So at the ceremony, we were hip and hip right next to each other as the bride's coming down, getting the exact same shot. And as you can imagine, like, that's just not what you want when you hire a second shooter. It completely defeats the purpose.
And the groom's probably like, shouldn't your second shooter be over there? Grab him.
Yeah. And I also remember that it was kind of a smaller like area, the ceremony. And so it just felt like so congested up there because there were two of us, and with the bridal party and him, like it felt like a lot. And so that was definitely frustrating. But after all of that, it was pretty normal. Like, it was the reception. So she was kind of floating around taking pictures. And what I didn't realize until after the wedding was that one of the groomsmen ended up telling me she was going around to different tables handing out business cards of hers.
No way.
Yeah.
She's literally doing everything. She found a guide of what not to do as a second shooter, and is just doing everything.
Yeah. And I think I had no idea that this was happening. So she was definitely being sneaky about it. So I think she knew that what she was doing was wrong because I really didn't see it. But yeah, I was told after that she was handing out business cards and was kind of chatting people up about, doing shoots for them. And then after the wedding, after all of that, my one rule with my second shooters is like, you can post the photos. Like, I don't care. You can use any photos that you want that you took. I feel like those are yours. But the one rule I have is like, please do not tag the bride and the groom, because I don't want them to see those photos that you've posted and think like that's the editing style that they're going to get. Because at the end of the day, I'm the one who's editing all of the photos. I edit the second shooters photos, and I just do not want them to get confused. So, and I was very clear with her with that. And she even, after the wedding, had texted me and was like, am I okay to post photos? And I was kind of surprised by that courtesy, but I'm like, thank you. Yes, you're good to post. Once again, please don't tag them. But if you could guess what she did next, she tagged them. But not only did she tag the bride and groom, she was tagging like every guest in the photo. Like, at the end of the day, I almost had to give her props. Like, I'm like, how did you find these people? Like, she was tagging people in the background of everything. And so I had to text her and just kind of be like, hey, can you please remove that tag? And she was like, oh, sorry, it was an accident. But how do you accidentally tag like an entire wedding? Like it doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, that was that. I have not been, I think she's like kind of fallen off the face of the earth though, because I have not been able to find like anything. She's definitely not doing photography anymore. And I don't know if like she did this scam with a couple other people or what ended up happening. But yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. And I feel like that's kind of typical when you hire those types of second shooters. Number one, they're not fully invested in weddings yet. They're either just trying to get started and get in, or even if like, is this a thing that I want to do? You know what I mean? Let me try to, suck up every opportunity I possibly can to get in and see if this is something for me. And so they don't carry the weight that you carry as a full-time career. And like you're a whole, the whole career is on the line pretty much at this moment.
Yeah.
So that's insane.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
insane.
It was definitely crazy. And it was such a good experience though, because it taught me so much as a lead photographer. And honestly, at the beginning, I thought maybe I was doing something wrong and maybe I wasn't giving her enough opportunities, because I remember she was very upset with me that quote, like this was not helping her portfolio and I was not giving her enough opportunities to grow her portfolio. And so for a while, like I really thought like, oh my gosh, like this must be my fault that this all happened. And so I was very hesitant to like bring back second shooters for a while, just because of that one experience. Yeah.
When was that?
So that was about 3 years ago. Okay. But now I have a team of people that I work with, and it's makes me like laugh thinking that ever happened, because it's just night and day what it is now. And the way that I vet people and like trust the people that I work with. Yeah.
So tell me that. Obviously you have to have one of those experiences to be like, okay, I got to get a system of vetting second shooters and figuring out who comes onto the team, who doesn't, who doesn't make the cut. What does that look like for you? What does that look like over the past 3 years as you built your team?
So I was very fortunate where I actually had a couple girls from my hometown move to the Chicago area that I knew were very experienced photographers. And as they moved to Chicago and were like trying to kind of grow their business in the Chicago area, I got very fortunate that I was able to work with them very closely as my second shooters. But then as far as adding more new people, what I started doing is I would actually bring on shadowers. So a lot of people that I would meet, whether I've actually met people through DMs other photographers that will DM me asking for second shooting opportunities, or I've been just like at events that I've been photographing and girls will come up to me and be like, hey, I'm a photographer if you ever need a second shooter. So when I meet people like in the wild, that's really nice, because then you can like talk to them and see their personality, because being a second shooter, you are going to be working with this person together for probably 10 hours of the day, and you want to make sure that you get along with them. And so for me, meeting someone and knowing that they are genuine, that there's no ego in it, is huge, because I think with second shooting, a lot of people think that this is an opportunity for them to, grow their which it is an opportunity for you to grow your portfolio, but that maybe comes like second or third. Like you are really assisting the lead photographer, and you are at the end of the day making the bride and groom's wedding day amazing. So that is getting these secondary angles. It's doing all of these other things. And then the cherry on top is all of those things that you did grow your portfolio, and you have great images through that. But so for me, I need to make sure that there's like no ego in it, and that they're willing to come and do the work because they want the bride and groom to have an amazing day. And then I also just like need to see your camera. Like, I think I have trust issues where I'm like, can you like visually, like I need to see this.
Yeah. We need a VIN number.
Yeah, no, really. But no, I think that the most important thing, even though beyond the gear, is because you can have amazing gear and still just be someone who is hard to work with. And so I like to just make sure that these people that I am working with are selfless, good-hearted people that understand my workflow and my process. And so that's why Sometimes before I even hire them or add them to like my second shooter team, I'll have them come to shadow me. So I might have a second shooter with me on that day, but I'll have them come and shadow me and just see how I work and kind of just test out what that day would look like. And then if it goes well, I kind of add them to my second shooter roster. And that for me has been very, very helpful. I work with a lot of newer photographers too, who are like getting into the industry. And sometimes for them, it can be scary to just jump into a second shooter role right away. And so by allowing them to like shadow me first, sometimes it's nice so they can, as you said before, even decide like, do I even like being at a wedding? Like, is this even something I like? So it's a little bit more low stakes for them. And for me, just to kind of get a vibe.
Yeah. So that's really cool. It sounds like the people that you do hire for shadowing, it sounds like they're actually interested in doing that. So they don't have to jump right into the second shooter role. How do you go about that process when you're now vetting them, right? So say they show up, you're watching them as a shadow. And have you had anybody come on as a shadow where you have to like, kind of decline them to come on as a second shooter?
So I feel very fortunate. I haven't had any situations that have been as bad maybe as the first, or a situation where I've had to decline them. If anything, it's more just me giving them a little bit more guidance of like the type of shots that I'm looking for, or like different camera settings that they need to be using. But I have to say, everyone that I've worked with is so, so kind. And I need to like knock on wood, because I was just reflecting the other day. I'm like, I don't know how I got so lucky. Like everyone that I work with is honestly kind of the same archetype. They are like just a genuine sweetheart, and they don't need to be like the star of the show. Like they're not going to, I don't need to worry that they're going to go like sneak their business cards to people or like do too much. But also I trust them so much where I could send them off with the groomsmen and I know that they will do a good job and that everyone there will love them. And this is, I think, a really good telling sign where I know when I can trust my second shooter, specifically in those sort of situations where I'm just thinking of one girl off the top of my head that I work with most of my weddings. Her name's Noelle. And yeah, she's the best. And what's great when you get a good second shooter, there's a couple things. One, you don't even have to use words with them. Like they know the situation and they know what needs to be done. Like I can give her a look and she knows exactly where to go. Like that's how you communicate. Or you'll both see like a grandparent crying or something and she's like on it. Like she's photographing those moments. Like those are the type of people that I like to work with, where they just like understand the scope of the wedding and they understand their job so much, where there's no even like, well, what do you want me to do? What do you want? Like they just know what to do. And second with that is the trust of, again, with Noelle, I just think back to, there was a wedding where I was with the bride and the bridesmaids getting ready, and she went to the hotel with the groom and the groomsmen and was taking getting ready photos. I then come to the hotel where they're all at, and I walk in and they're like all laughing, like they have inside jokes. And it was just like so amazing to see like how comfortable she had made all of them, and they all trusted her. And that's like what you want. Like you want to be able to just drop, like if you for some reason were to like faint, pass out, need to go to the hospital, and your second shooter had to take over, you entrust them so implicitly that like they have got it. And so that is really even beyond like what I look for. It's like if I were to drop dead, would I trust them to shoot the rest of the wedding?
Yeah, I love that. It's literally like black and white from the first shooter that you had a problem with. It was very like victim mentality. Like I need to be here for me. This is my wedding. I need to get my shots. The other person is now, I'm part of your team. I'm part of your brand. I'm helping elevate, your client experience. And in return, you're like, man, I want to pay you as much as possible.
Yes.
And I want to help you second shoot your weddings and see your career rise, right? So it's like when we actually go out and help other people, in turn, they're going to want to help you back. It's like a very simple mindset, but it's hard. It's hard.
That is so spot on.
Yeah. That is so cool. I love that you're actually building the gap between, people that are interested in wanting to become second shooters and build their own careers, but not necessarily like hiring anybody anymore, right? Like there needs to be this bridge. and I don't know if there's anything else. You kind of mentioned that you have like a photo school
Yeah.
and a small knit kind of private community. I don't know if that's something where you kind of bring in the people that are in the shadowing world and help
Mhm.
them kind of transition into the second shooter world. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I started a podcast called Photo School, and it's essentially just an educational series for anyone who maybe is thinking about buying a camera, all the way up to if you've been in the industry for a while and just want to like grow your photography business.
Yeah.
And I really give more educational resources for them on how to go from like 0 to 100. And then I also have attached with that a photography club that we meet bi-weekly. There's about 200 people in the photography club, and it's growing every single day. We also have a Discord channel that is constantly popping off with photographers giving advice and tips. So I feel like I have, as of recently, kind of entered this new era of my business where I'm taking on more of like an educator role, and I've been
Cool.
helping a lot more of like these younger photographers. And so with that, it's been kind of this really cool transition to see a lot of the girls that I've been helping as they've been starting, and then them kind of turn into my second shooters that I work with. So it has been such a cool like progression that I just absolutely love. And like you said, once you are there to like help someone else, they want to help you. Like the more you give to someone else, the more they want to give to you. And it is such a cool balance. And I really do believe that like generosity grows your business. So when you are doing even like these second shooter gigs, like that is not for nothing. Like your lead photographer will never forget the hard work that you put into it and the selflessness that you brought to the day. And they are going to want to do everything in their power to help you grow your business. And I just think that that's kind of the point.
It's true. Like, there's a couple of second shooters that I feel are just phenomenal, and like where their hourly rate doesn't match the value that they give back to my business, and it's just they bring so much value as far as like personality. They do anything you ask them of and beyond. The shots are creative. Not only that, but they're on time. Like all the things, right? They hit all the check marks. And you get to the end of the day, and you're like, I just can't pay you your hourly rate. I have to give you more. Like it's just like, it's hurting me to not pay you enough. And those are the second shooters like I love. And just recently, like I had a second shooter reach back out and been like, hey man, I noticed that you put in a really good word for me to like other companies out there. And they reached out to me, and I'm just like so thankful for you, like helping me. And it was a company that was one of the best in the world. So like for them to be able to work with them is really cool. But that's not just because I wanted to blow smoke, up about him. It was like he truly put in the work, right? Like he served above and beyond. And it's like that just naturally flows out of me to talk about people like that when you give so much value into my business, right? It's like the least I can do. So I hope that helps somebody out there. But if somebody wanted to, if they're just starting out, they want to get into photography, they're in the Chicago area, what's like the next step to kind of get involved into the club?
Yeah. So all of my social media handles are Hannah Haisman Photo Co. And if you go to my Instagram, my TikTok, anything, I have a link in my bio where you can sign up for Photography Club. You can sign up to be a part of our Discord. I would highly recommend signing up to be a part of the Discord. That is like the greatest thing I've ever been a part of. Like I said, it's a channel where essentially like a giant organized group chat where people give tips, they share stories, which crazy enough, if you thought like my story was crazy, some of the other second shooter stories that I've heard from people are
really
mind blowing.
Okay, I gotta get in there because I gotta hear all this.
Yes, it's so good. And so people share stories, advice, tips. People make connections with people in their state. I've seen so many people like exchange branding photos. And so no one understands the photography trenches like a photographer. And we go through a lot, and there's so much behind the scenes stuff that is not talked about. And so if you want a place to vent, get inspired, that is where I would go.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Hannah, thank you so much for hopping on this podcast, sharing the crazy horror story, but also sharing a huge win in your business and how other people can also find success.
Oh, thank you.